All right. Mass recycling centers' daily operations. And this might be a little repetitive if you just listened to mass recycling centers explained. All right, so the mass recycling center's goals. Number one, reduce what goes into landfills. Number two, redefine trash versus waste. Number three, empower people to clean the earth. All right, so we have our macro to micro scale for the mass recycling center. So it's a 0 through 10, and 0 through 1 are plastic wraps. It is the really light materials that packaging, so little bags or anything that can be taken by the wind, clear or not, it just needs to be dry. Number two is flexible plastics that are light. So milk cartons or yogurt containers, things that can be squished and break, because number three is flexible or heavy plastics. So that would be like shampoo bottles where they're still squishy, but they're harder to break. Laundry detergents where they have all this coating to keep products inside. And numbers two and three will be taken to a washing station because any food particles that you don't want in your sink can be taken off. They need to be cleaned and disinfected if they're going to be part of the raw supply line. Also, for items like detergents or shampoos, any extra material or waste left in the bottles because of poor bottle design or the pump action creates a lot of waste. So those objects would have their own specific section, which will be another video. All right, so number four is where it actually gets into poundage. 0 through 10 pounds of any material. So that could be a light or a vase that's broken. It could be an umbrella that's broken that no one knows how to fix, or a pillow that's ripped that needs to be restitched, but you don't know how. Five is 10 to 29 pounds of any material. So it's getting heavier, but one person can lift it uninhibited, generally. Number six will be team lifts. So 30 pounds to 45 pounds, any material. And numbers two through six is if it fits in the bin, it will be taken. Because number 7 through 10 will have drop off or pickup options. Because 7 through 10 is just a radiant of what machinery is needed to make the move of the object. A microbin is any object, broken or whole, any material not accepted in the trash that is smaller than a baseball. So little pieces of wood, little pieces of magnets, maybe from kids' toys that you don't have the rest of, foil balloons, rubber balloons, little things that don't go in the trash. Lids are encouraged for the microbins, but not required. Every mass recycling center will accept micro through macro objects to be organized into manageable recycling categories. Electric vehicles will do recycling pickup, not trash pickup. Trash and recycling slash waste will now be collected by different companies. Trash goes to the landfill. Recycling will go to the mass recycling center for organization from micro to macro objects that people do not want or need anymore. What used to be wasted in the garbage now becomes a recycled object. A new line of raw materials will be collected at the mass recycling center from the organized objects collected by the city. It will be the national government's responsibility to provide funding to all states and locations people produce waste and recycling. There needs to be a national standard of waste for all residents and businesses to follow. State to state, there needs to be a united leadership, consistent leadership. Not all states or cities currently provide recycling or anywhere to put the trash and waste responsibly. By creating the national standard of waste, every state will host at least one mass recycling center. All objects put in bins across the United States will be the same because all mass recycling centers will organize the same. Regions will have their special categories dependent on recreational activities and patterns found through sorting at the Local mass recycling centers will help in future organization. Everyone produces waste, and humans need to be responsible about how to collect it and deal with what is left over. We cannot let WALL-E come true. Pickup for mass recycling centers. The responsibility starts at collection for the mass recycling center. What is given to the mass recycling center is then the property of the city. Local homes and businesses will be required to separate all trash and waste into at least 2 bins. Number 1, trash, taken to the landfill. Number 2, container people will use for the mass recycling center. If someone wants it to be recycled, put it in the bin. If an object is broken and you can't be bothered to fix it, put it in the bin. If there's a hole in your pants and you don't know how to fix it, put it in the bin. If it doesn't decompose, send it to the mass recycling center. Metal and electronics can go in the bin. The recycling bins will be picked up regularly and take truckloads to the mass recycling centers. And bin 3 would be a micro object. Objects drop off. Incoming trucks are unloaded by workers that will unload and organize the macro objects as they are offloaded from the truck. Anything that is offloading anything the offloading team can lift, they will organize into the correct category for further breakdown or resale. When the team is done with macro objects, the medium objects will be condensed and sent to the next phase of organization, and the same done for small objects. The last objects at the bottom are micro objects, and hopefully there will be a low amount because people are using micro bins. Old shopping carts can be used for employees to transfer objects from incoming trucks to correct areas for breakdown, fixing, or resale. What comes into the local MRC will also dictate what deeper organization categories they will need. For example, Alaska and Colorado doesn't need the same recycling center as Florida or Illinois. And as time goes on and more objects come in, more organization can be developed. Right. Excuse me. I have 11 categories for objects to be for materials at the Mass Recycling Center for organization. Number 1, rigid plastics. Taken to rigid plastics ward for breakdown, fixing, or resale. Flexible plastics. Objects will be divided between washing station and flexible plastic ward. Items like laundry detergent containers, shampoo, and yogurt containers would be sent to the washing center. There will be food containers from companies or restaurants. And once items are cleaned, they can be sorted and reintroduced to the supply line to local businesses as closed loop recycling. Textiles are anything soft or with seams, taken to household repair ward for breakdown, fixing, or resale. Furniture, any material, taken to the household ward for breakdown, fixing, or resale. Wood, anything with bamboo or wood. Compressed wood will be separated and dealt with differently. And the more we learn about wood in what is being given, the more we can learn how to break it down. Or if wood shops can use it for creating. So it can be a raw material for education and schools and hands-on learning without having to pay for it, and then it doesn't go in the landfill. All right. Number 6, cardboard will be considered different than shipping boxes. Shipping boxes collected will be resold to shipping companies. If so much money is spent on labels and logos, the shipping container should last for at least more than one customer use. Flattened cereal boxes can be returned to cereal companies for refilling and regluing. Cardboard tubes for toilet paper and paper towels can be sent back for refilling. Glass and ceramics, number 7. Taken to household ward for breakdown, fixing, or resale. Number 8, rubber. Anything rubber, and you'd be surprised at how much rubber is in everything. Anything rubber for kids' toys, tires, water bottle gaskets, anything will be sorted and accepted. Number 9, aluminum and metal. Many objects contain more than one type of material. If there is any metal on the object, it will be removed. The other materials accompanying the object will be broken down and sent to corresponding areas. For example, a desk might have a wooden top but metal legs. Metal legs will be considered first because the wood is second. When the desk is broken down, the wood pieces will be transferred to the wood ward and the metal pieces to the metal area. The wood can be reused and then the metal can be reused somewhere else. Number 10, electronics. Anything with a plug or motor. Objects will be sent to the repair ward depending on their deeper organizations. Repair ward will decide if the electronics is fixable or break it down for parts. Anything repaired will be transferred to the resale ward. For example, a remote control car arrives at the MRC and cannot be fixed. The wiring, screws, nuts, and bolts will be collected. Any rubber tires or pieces of the object will be transferred to the rubber ward. Packing materials, resold to company for reclaimed object credit. These objects can be placed in shopping carts once taken off the collection truck and taken to the send-out area immediately. The Styrofoam ID will inform the mass recycling center where to send it, or the materials can be sent to local shipping companies. Micro-organization center. Small and micro objects will be anything smaller than a baseball, broken, or whole. The objects will be condensed and taken to the micro-organization center of the mass recycling center. Residents and business can use any container to fill with micro objects. If the container is full with a lid, it can be placed in the waste bin. If the container has no lid, drop-off is required. Micro bins can be broken containers or glass vases. Small and micro objects will be broken down into raw categories: rigid plastics, metal, electronics, rubber, wood, glass, ceramics, textiles like food netting, styrofoam, or other toxic materials. Micro shipping objects include plastic attachments, elastic strings, twist ties, silica balls, rubber bands, and any of the plastic pieces to hold objects in place. Whatever the micro-organization center cannot separate beyond the 7 categories will be taken to the landfill. We cannot guarantee 100% of the objects or materials will be kept out of the landfill, but the amount going to the landfill can be drastically reduced. If humans can regain control of the trash and pollution we've created, humans can have a hope for the future. With objects that are organized and ready to leave the mass recycling center, there will be a reloading team. Reclaimed objects will be sent back to companies with matching materials or companies' IDs. See policy reform. All objects ready to be sent away from the mass recycling center will be loaded on trucks at the reloading area. There is enough room for all categories of waste to be spread out and have space to sort at vacant malls without being visible to the public. Employees can be in a comfortable space as they sort and organize as instructed. Inside, the mall is enough division, yet still connected enough to make it possible to sort and deliver correct categories to the correct location without the use of trucks. Old shopping carts and other collected devices with wheels will serve as excellent means of transportation throughout the mass recycling center for macro and medium-sized objects. The mall circles can create an easy way to recycle multiple materials at one location without being a bother to the public with noise and deliveries. If large malls are not available, shopping centers and other large buildings that are currently vacant should be used. If possible, no new building construction should be done. All supplies from the mass recycling center should be secondhand and reused. For example, if the mass recycling center household repair ward needs a new sewing machine, it should be secondhand and possibly an object from a local resident. Supply costs should be low for operating a mass recycling center. The major cost is paying the employees for their time and efforts. The positive benefits of local mass recycling centers are endless. Thank you.